It's easy enough for me to connect to why I love to write, to know why I love to actually just do the writing, because it's the experience I love. It's the getting in the flow. It's the meditative quality of that. It's the discovery. It's the connecting to to that which I need to connect to in order to write. That sense of being in relation to something bigger than myself. So when I think about writing, it's very easy for me to understand why I'm doing it. But it can be a little more complicated with the publishing about why I publish, aside from money and the sort of career side of it, just in terms of experience. Now, in the past, I've often thought about the experience of working with the publisher and my agent, the collaborative nature of that relationship. And I do enjoy that. Here's this team of people working with me to uh, to finish this piece of work that I so love and am committed to. And it's always great to have other people committed to it too, both again, my agent, my editor, but the proofreader, the cover designer, all those people. So it's really great. I love the collaborative nature of it, but that's different than the publishing, which is it going out into the world, which is its ultimate final destination. And that is a strangely removed thing. For a lot of the arts, you get to have the experience of the audience. It's more immediate. I love public speaking because public speaking is sort of, I get the experience of writing, which is that creative, the thought, the stories, the ideas coming through me, tapping into that, but then the immediate reaction of the audience and the feedback from that. So it's a real give and take, and the loop is closed right there. Audience and artist are having this experience together. But of course, in publishing, the audience has their experience separate from you. And so it can get a little harder to connect to the pleasure in that, again, aside from the money and so on. And so there's two things I think worth focusing on when we think about why we publish. And from an emotional, experiential point of view. And the first has to do with conversation. Writing a book is an offer to have a conversation with your readers. Some of those conversations happen without your physical participation. You write the book and you leave room for the reader to draw their own conclusion. And so they're finishing the story that you wrote with their own imagination, their own ideas. But of course, if you're ever invited to go anywhere and speak to readers or give talks, the conversation you will have will revolve around the content of the book. And that's very gratifying. I wrote Fearless Writing and Everyone Has What It Takes. And those are books about the emotional challenges of writing. So when people invite me to go to a writer's conference or to speak to writers, I know the conversation they want to have is about the emotional challenges of writing. And that's the conversation I want to have more than, say, marketing or the business side of it, say. So that's one plus. And so, I interviewed Kristen Hanna recently, and she wrote about the women who were involved in the Vietnam War, and that they largely went overlooked. And so she got to have conversations with people about women's role in that war. So she got to have that conversation. And it's true of all authors. There's some conversation you're going to have based on the book. But then I think even beyond that, and maybe more importantly, is that when you publish a book, you are putting something beautiful, cool, interesting, profound, funny, exciting out into the world. In some small way, you're making the world a little bit better. And here's what I mean. Think about when you um, engage with art, whether you're reading a book, or watching a movie, or just watching a reel, on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, and you really connect to it. Aren't you glad for that experience of focusing on something that you find cool, that you find beautiful, that you find engaging? I know every time I do, I wish every single thing I engaged with felt that way, felt that a lot enlivening, reminded me why life is worth living, reminded me why life is beautiful, reminded me why life is friendly. Of course, not everything put out into the world will have that experience for me, because what one person finds moving and what another person finds moving is not always the same. So I'm going to meet a lot of stuff that doesn't do it for me. But every time I do meet something, I'm glad for it. And so I think as artists, we have to trust that if we've created something we think is beautiful, that we think is valuable, that we offer it out into the world because it makes the world or it makes humans' experience of the world a little bit better because it's one more thing that they can focus on that connects them to why life is friendly or interesting or cool or exciting, whatever it is you are wanting to focus on, whatever the story is you're telling. And it's a little more abstract, but with a little imagination, you can tune into it as you offer it out into the world. I'm making the place a little bit better. It's bigger than you. And it's not really a grandiose thought, I don't believe, saying that what the work that you spend all this time on that you love is making the experience of being a human in this world a little bit better. I don't. We all are looking for things we love. We're all looking for the things we love. And why not something that you've created? So I think that that's probably the biggest or the highest view on publishing I can think of about why it's worth it, why putting something out there is worth it, and why it's gratifying, even though it's not an immediate experience. If you picture it, use your writer's imagination to picture putting something beautiful out into the world, and somewhere out there, people having the same kind of experience of it that you do when you meet something you love. Now it'll seem worth it. Now you seem like you're doing something more than just trying to make money and doing a job. Yeah, which is okay, but not really the reason we do it, is it? No, it's not. Yeah. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe. You don't have to miss it that way. And if you like it, say so. I do love to hear from you. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.